up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is The Good Lord Bird, episode 7. Y'all, I was smiling just now, but when I tell you, I cried. Real tears. Like, I sat up and watched the last 30 minutes of the episode so I could make some notes so I could make this video. And I had, touched up my makeup. I watched the show and I had to go back and touch up my makeup again because I was Listen. Some funny, but baby, they did that. First thing I want to say before I get started is I just want to thank everybody who has taken the time to watch these videos. I know I don't have a lot of views for this video, but I really, really love this show a whole lot. It's very funny. Thank you if you started watching the show because of me. I know Showtime is probably happy. You started watching the show because of me. This show is great. This show is timely. This show is very hilarious. Not only is it hilarious, it's extremely thoughtful. It's extremely creative. I liked how the characters were well-rounded. The people who needed to be well-rounded were well-rounded. I like how it wasn't preachy. They didn't take time and give you these big-ass speeches about America this and America that. They kind of showed you that people are flawed. They just showed it to you. The people are good, but people are also flawed. It really sparks an interesting conversation about America. So I just think that this show was a blessing to watch. It was a blessing to be a part of anything that having to do with this show. If y'all saw in my comments on the last video, the man, his name is Nick Eversman, I think that's his name. He plays John Jr. That's the son with the long hair, the son we saw in this episode. Dot.
You was a G!
He came in the comments and said that he likes to watch the video. So I thought that was awesome. Maybe I can get an interview with him. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this show was amazing. It was a honor for me to review this show. It's literally one of my favorite shows now. I hope that it ends up on Netflix or Hulu or something where people can binge watch it and they can really watch this show again. Okay, if you have not watched it, y'all, please go watch the show. You will not be disappointed, okay? So if you're here for the first time, we will be going in depth, scene by scene, talking about what happened on this episode. So I don't want to waste any time. Let's get started. So I got all the kids now. So we got John Jr., that's long hair. We got Jason, that was the young one. He was kind of young. He was out there on the bridge or at the railroad. And then we got Owen, who is Bae. Okay, that's Bae. At the end of the last episode, Jason had just got shot and he's dead now. So now John Jr. is the only son that he has left. Now, in the real riot, John Jr. and Jason did not die. Not in that riot, okay? So it was 2 of his other sons that died, but 2 of his sons did die in the riot, and Owen did survive the riot. John Jr. and Jason were a part of the raid, but they didn't. They weren't on location when the raid started. We start off with the scene getting narrated by Frederick Douglass. He's asking, did John Brown, was he a fool? Did he fail? And he says, well, he did fail, getting out of Harper's Ferry, right? He certainly failed in that respect, but he definitely did not die in vain. He would say 1,000, 10,000 times, no, he did not die in vain. He says, no man can fail at anything, giving his life. So then we see the soldiers are surrounded. And then we see them throw out a firebomb and we see the charge. Okay, so they come out shooting. It's only 6 or 7 or 8 of them or whatever. And they all come out shooting. They all know they're going to die. It's 1,200 soldiers outside. Y'all know they're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? So we see in the middle of all this going on, John Brown starts to pray because y'all know he likes to stop and pray in the middle of everything. So he prays and he's telling the God to invite him in this room. He says Satan is loud. He's talking real loud. And he's like, then we see Onion over there praying too. Onion is over there praying like,
Lord, please, Jesus, help us, Lord, right now, Jesus.
Onion is talking about praying and how John Brown prays and, he looks like Jesus right now, looks like what the white people think Jesus is. And right now he knew that this shit was going to work. Okay, I was like, come through. Like, come through, discernment. Okay, you say
This shit gonna work, fam.
and everybody stopped shooting. They like, hold up. Why they start shooting? Whoa, that's a bad sign. That's not a good sign. I'm like, what happened? Why they stop shooting? And then we see Jeb. You remember Jeb? He told me next time I see you, I'm gonna kill you. That Jeb. So Jeb is knocking on the door. He like, hey, boo.
You remember me? You remember me?
Like
John Jr., you up in there?
somebody says that Jason is dead. And so this, I ain't gonna say that it hurt jail, but you know, I guess he was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, your son dead, like, damn, we got him out of jail, and now, you know, he's dead. He tells John that Robert E. Lee is demanding that he surrender. It's 1,200 soldiers outside. There's no way that they're going to get out. He says, we're not coming out, period. We demand the freedom of these slaves and safe passage across the river or something, like across the bridge. That's what we want. Because he was like, what do you want right now? Like, what you need immediately, okay? And he was like, that's what I want. I want these slaves to be free, and I want us to have safe passage for my men across this river. And he was like, okay, what do you need right now? And he was like 100 yards of a head start. Then he calls John Jr. over there. He like, let me look at you. Let me see you. Let me look at you. Let me look at you real good. He says, none of your daddy theatrics and this BS he up in here trying to do, ain't none of them gonna get him out of this, baby.
Y'all all gonna die.
Well, he says, you need to surrender. And John Jr. is like, no, we're not going to surrender. We won't be able to do that. We're going to exchange hostages for the safe passage of these slaves. Did you hear me? You gonna die, okay? One more time. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? He's like, I hear you, bro. But what I said was, we're not going to come out of here. We're not going to let the hostages go until you free these slaves. We ain't got nothing to talk about.
You done or is you finished? All right?
And Jeb was like, okay, fine. You got till daybreak to decide. I said, oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Washington, remember the hostage they had from the plantation? He says, you're going to hang. You're going to hang for treason. This is treason. And then Jim starts talking to him, and Jim is like, you know what? I used to think you was higher than me. Like, I used to think that you were better than me. But now when I see you up here pissing on yourself and talking crazy, now I can see that, you know, one tree don't grow higher than another or something. One corn stalk don't grow higher than another. Basically saying we all the same. This is the great equalizer, okay? And he was like, you think that this man is going to save all black people?
You think he gonna save you?
And he was like, no, I don't think he's going to save me, but he's trying to save you. That's a word, baby. That is a word, honey. Because, you know, slavery makes a slave out of the slave and the slaver. It makes both of them be slaves. You know, that's like a saying. I don't know who said it, but it's definitely a saying. I read an article about John Brown and about how he felt like, he remember when he said, I'm the most sane person in here at the raid last week. And he was saying that because a lot of times he was quoted as saying that I live in an insane country. Like, I don't think that it's cool to buy and sell. Like, the whole way they proved him to be insane, y'all, was because he felt that black women and men were equal to white men and women. That's the basis of his insanity, okay? So when he was saying, y'all are crazy. If I don't think that you should buy and sell a child. You should not buy and sell people. And for y'all to think that is insane. Like, something is wrong with you to feel like that's okay, that you can purchase a human being. Crazy shit. Maybe that's why he bought the white slaves to his kids, because he wanted them to see that they're human just like I'm human, just like a black person is a human, just like somebody can enslave me. What if the world flipped around and they wanted to enslave us? Because that could happen too. You know what I mean? So, like, if the whole world flipped on its ear and then we decided the white people to be less, do you think somebody should consider you to be less of a human? You're a human, just like anybody else. So maybe that's why he brought the white slaves home. But I digress. Let me get back on topic. So he tell him he got a daybreak to decide, like I said. Man say he trying to save you. He ain't trying to save us. He ain't gonna save us today. Basically, he's trying to save you. So the black people get together and talk. So basically, John Brown has given them an escape route. So he says there's a way all of us can get out. The old man is gonna make a big stink tomorrow. He's gonna throw some fire bombs out there. He's gonna make a big old mess while we can try to get out the back. Now, we can get out the back. We can sneak out with the hostages or whatever. And it's like, if you get caught, play dumb. They gonna hang everybody. You know what I mean? So you gotta play dumb. Onion is like, well, what if they don't know me? They don't know my true nature. Basically saying I'm a boy, I'm not a girl. And everybody started laughing like, boy, we knew you was a damn boy. Okay, as soon as I saw your ass down at the plant, child, I knew you was a damn boy. Stop playing. You want to dress and act like a man or whatever, but you're not a man, or you want to die like a man. That's what he says. And he says, well, I want to, but how can I die like a man if I've never lived like a man? And this moment was so poignant to me, y'all. They took the clothes off their own back. They took the clothes, they gave him a shirt, They gave him a little hat. They gave him all kind of clothes so that he could die like a man. And he said, well, what you gonna wear? He said, I'm not going nowhere. He said, we not going nowhere, but it's going to give us a kick. You know, it's going to give us a tickle to let us know that you made it. They tell him to lie and say that you belong to some man. It is interesting how they tell him that when he escapes that he needs to play dumb. He needs to act like a slave. He needs to act so stupid and ignorant, like he don't know what's going on, and they saved his life, basically. They say the person that he belongs to has a boy about his age, so, you know, they can just say, hey, you know, you belong to him, because they don't know the difference between us anyway. They ain't going to be able to recognize you, you know, from nobody else or whatever. So that was going to be his way to escape. They toast to Onion and his little nuts. Oh, his peanuts. So everybody's together and they're talking about the plan. So they're going to cause a ruckus in the front door, right? They're going to allow the men to escape in the back. And they're going to try to make that exit work for everybody. So John Jr. asks to lead. And he's like, no, I don't need for you to lead or whatever. You don't need to do that. And he was like, well, it would be my honor, you know, to lead. And he's like, no, I don't need you to lead the charge. Like, you know, basically, he don't want his other son to die. You know what I mean? So he's like, Isaiah. He starts saying Isaiah, like, you know, they always got the, you know, he always got them boys quoting scripture. So now they know it. They can throw the scripture back at you. He like, Isaiah, I am here. And so let me go or something. So send me or something, he says. And so I was like, oh, he gonna die. He gonna die.
He gon' die. Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to keep stopping to cry because my feelings is, you know, my feelings is just a little, whew, they all over the place. Y'all, I promise y'all I'm trying. I'm just an poor, wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world below. There is no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going home to see my father and all my loved ones who've gone on. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. Whew. So when they were all gathered around talking about the plan, they break into song, singing this song, because they kind of know at this point they're all going to die at some point. While this song is going on, they did a cool thing with the shots. They brought all the different people from the show together, Simone, you know, different people. And there's like poignant views of them. I love how they, even though the show is about John Brown, and at the end in the credits of the show, they highlighted what the show is really about. It's about the freedom of these people. So yes, it's about this one person and he was a great person, but let's not forget the black people that he was trying to help. The black people, even though he suffered and he died and he got hung and he, you know, died for his cause, it couldn't compare to the suffering, the horrible things that happened to slaves during that time. Y'all, my dog is running around the house like a crazy person. So if you hear that, he acting like he got schizophrenia or some shit, okay? Morning comes. We see the scene. We've seen these flashes like several times in the episode. So they throw a firebomb out first, and then they start shooting. So John Jr. is the first one to get shot. He's dead, baby. He is dead, baby. I was like, he is dead. Oh, God. John watched him, and Onion is watching too as he's like halfway out the window because, like I said, they were doing the escape so that they can get out, right? So they bust out. Onion escapes, but they get caught. Like, all the soldiers surround them, and they're like, where are you from? Where are you going? And he says, sir, I'm just a hostage. You know, he has to play dumb. He has to play ignorant. On the voiceover, he's saying, you know, we turned into a bunch of ignorant Negroes. Child, we act like, you know, they saved our life. Then he tells him that, you know, he's a hostage, and he from up such and such. So Jeb is like, he looks familiar to me. Wait a minute, who are you? So for a second, he didn't know if Jeb felt bad for him, if Jeb knew, and, you know, he didn't say nothing, or he really didn't recognize him. In the end, I think he really didn't recognize him. He might have thought he recognized him, but he didn't really recognize him. He said, okay, well, take him away. So they put Onion on the horse, and they take him away. Now we're at getting gone. So he was brought home, right, to his supposed home to his master. And guess who's sitting out there on the front porch? Bob. So Robert was trying to kill himself before, okay? Because he says, well, I thought you was gonna. He said, me too. So he was trying to like kill himself. I thought he was just trying to lead a missing child. But he's sitting out there. He has an immediate answer when the man rose up like, why you so busted up? What's wrong with you? And he was like, oh, master kicked me down the well today. Like you can tell like, one thing about the slaves of that period, which I have come to find about watching when I watch Roots, when I watch Underground, when I watch all these shows, to know that these people were not dumb. These people were not stupid. A lot of times they were playing dumb. They were playing stupid because they didn't want people to find out what they had going on, or even to know that they were intelligent beings. Bring him there, and like I said, Bob sitting on the porch, and cuss who come out? Nobody but Babe.
Nobody but Babe.
He came on out, honey, and he was plays like he's the owner, and he's like, you know, you better not ever run away. He snatches him up, and I'm going to do you this to your black ass, yada, yada, yada. He says something about a she. And he was like, that is the boy. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. That's the boy. He said something talking about you done got so comfortable with your Negroes that now you forget who they are. You don't even recognize who you're dealing with. So now Owen knows that he's a boy. He turns around and he says, what did the old man think about your disguise? It's not a disguise. This is me. I'm a man. And Owen kind of like dismisses that immediately. He's like, okay, well, what's going on with John Jr. and Jason? He says Jason died like a hero, and he says he don't know about everybody else. The last thing they left, they was, charging at the people or whatever, going through the door. And he says, okay, well, let's ride. Let me tell you something. When he came out that house, bitch, he had swag, okay? He was walking like he had like he was sad, like he had been crying. He's like in the midst of grief, And so they bring him to Watson's barbershop. If you notice, this whole show is cyclical. They end up in a place just like where they started, just to let you know that, yes, John Brown sparked the flame of revolution, but it took a long time. It was a year after that the Civil War started. So just think you did this big thing. You think that it's going to materialize in something. But even at the end, John Brown comes to realize that this is going to take a minute. This is not going to be, I'm just the start. I'm just the spark that's going to start the flame. I mean, they're back at this barbershop. He said he's going to ride the gospel train to get to wherever he got to go. Owen says he's going to stick around for a minute, but the man is like, nah, you need to get up out of here because everybody is dead. I don't know if you heard, but everybody is dead except John Brown. And they say he's in jail. So Onion is like, we're going to bust him out of jail. We're going to bust him out. And he's like, why? He's not in jail. He's not grieving. Okay, most people die for nothing, and he's gonna die for something. We all gonna die for something. And so the man says, well, y'all need to split up if y'all gonna stay alive. Owen, he just leaves after that, y'all. He says his goodbyes to him, and he tells him, okay, well, now I know why you was liking on my little sister, because, you actually a boy or whatever. And like, he was like, if you come up, don't be a stranger. If you come up, bring a book of poems and bring some sweets. His daughter actually ended up marrying an abusive boyfriend. She didn't end up marrying anybody that was loving and good to her. She ended up marrying an abusive boyfriend. He tells her, well, she says, well, your sister probably has a lot of different suitors. And he says, but she doesn't have anybody that's like you. And so he just rides off. I was like, babe, don't leave, babe. You gonna be all right, babe. Like, you gonna be okay. Like, I don't want you to just ride off. Like, how you gonna eat? He became a soldier in the Civil War. So he fought for the Union in the Civil War. So he did go on to live. And he died when he was like in his 60s. I think he died of pneumonia. Haven't killed John Brown yet. When he's writing, he says he has work to do. But he's working, and he's working at the barbershop, and he sees Robert. Robert is about to leave. He got him a job working on a lumber yard in Pennsylvania so that he can buy his family. So he said, I'm gonna be seeing you soon. And he says, nah, I doubt it. The storm is coming. I doubt that you'll see me again. So he says, well, I guess this is goodbye. And they hug each other, and Robert kind of smiles a little bit. He kind of laughs a little bit. And he says, I don't know if he ever got his family out. This is how a lot of those stories end. Like, Roots distressed my spirit. When people just left and you never saw that character again. Like, literally the daughter just left and we never saw the people from the plantation, like original plantation, like Kunta. We ain't never seen them no more. You know what I mean? Like, that hurt me, okay? That people just leave and you don't even know. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a mess during this thing because I just be thinking about like when people sell people family and kids and husbands and like the relatives that we as African Americans have in America that you don't even know about because they sold people away, and it's just like, oh my God, it's just horrible. Onion gives us a little monologue. He's talking about how John Brown was a stirrer-upper, and he stirred up some ish, okay? That was his point. He was there to stir some shit up. He's reading his Bible, so we see him reading his Bible kind of. This is something that he took from John Brown because you remember he didn't know nothing about reading no Bible when we first met him. So now he's reading his Bible, and he's talking about John's letters. John Brown wrote a lot of letters from jail, and they say that this is really what helped the cause after he got caught and he was going to get hung. So he says, in the letters, he says if he had done what he was doing for his people, for white people, he would consider a hero. He wouldn't be getting hung. He says that Walt Whitman, Thoreau, Emerson, they all took up the cause. They all really took up the cause after John Brown went to jail because they had been writing about abolitionist literature for like a long time, sitting in the comfort of their homes, right? And so was Frederick Douglass at this time. He was in England after the raid because he didn't want to get killed for being a conspirator or whatever. So he was sitting over there in England saying, you know, this is a great man, this is a great man. So he really made a lot of headway when he was actually in jail. And we see now it's 3 days. It's 3 days before he's gonna get hung. Onion goes to Watson and asks him if he can go see him, and he says, no, you don't need to go. Why you think I'm hiding? I'm not hiding you for no reason. Like, why would I let you go see him? He said, I'm not asking you if I had permission. I'm telling you I'm gonna go see him, and I'm asking you, will you help me? So I'm gonna go see him, period. Okay, I just wanna know if you're gonna help me. And so the man decides to help him. He says, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for, I forgot who he said he was doing it for, child. But he says he gonna bring him to the jail. He brought him to a certain place, and the dude named Clarence gonna pick him up, and then Davis is gonna look the other way so he can talk to him in the jail. He gets to jail, and John Brown is like, is that you? It does my heart good to see you or whatever. Come closer. He's like, damn, you gonna get hung tomorrow. And he was like, it's gonna be fine. You know, it's gonna be 6 to 9 minutes, and I figure I will do more for the cause than I've ever done in my entire life. And he says, I'm really the luckiest man in the world. And Onion is like, what do you mean you're gonna die? And he was like, there's eternity behind us, and there's eternity ahead of us. And this little speck is just a moment. Right? This is our life. It's over just like this. He did what he was supposed to do. The Lord wanted him to ring the bell, and that's what he did. He rang that hoe. Okay? He rang that hoe loud as hell. He said, there's a great war coming, and I need you to keep your head down. He won't live to see the change that's coming, but he hopes that Onion lives to see the change that's going to come. But it will take time. So he asked him to pray with him, and Onion goes to pray with him, but this time he asked Onion to lead the prayer. And so Onion gives thanks. He asks God for strength and courage so that he could die a man's death. He asking for respectfulness. He's asking for God to understand that they're just trying to save people, for other people to understand. They're just trying to save people. And he says, I can hear your heart beating. This will remind you that we are alive. We are alive. You can hear my beat. We are alive right now. And then Onion asks God for forgiveness for not giving the passcode at the right time. And then John asked for forgiveness for changing the date because he did say, I deserve to die. He says, I guess this is goodbye. And he was like, I deserve to die, not for doing the insurrection, but I deserve for staying in the house, wherever they was, that place so long and not going to the bridge. That was stupid. I shouldn't have did that. He asked him, does he still have the feather from the good Lord bird? And he says, yes. He said, good. The good Lord bird don't fly in a flock because the voice of the spirit is gentle. So sometimes you got to fly alone to hear it. I was like, whoa! Y'all. Onion asked him why he never asked him why he wears a dress. And he was like, because whatever you are, like, I don't care what you wear. Whatever you are, I just want you to be it in full. He says, I don't care if you however God made you is how God made you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if he's wearing a dress or pants. Like, I don't care. It's interesting how one of the biggest things of this whole season became a non-factor. Nobody even cared that he had a dress on. Everybody knew that he was a boy, pretty much. I think that John, and I read an article, Ethan Hawke says, I think he figured it out at some point, but I think he also forgot that he gave him the dress, so he just thought he wanted to be a girl, so he just treated him like he was a girl, and he didn't care. Truth be told, he don't care. He says, however God made you is how he made you. I love you. You know, God loves you, and I love you. And so he says, will you check on my family sometimes? And Onion is like, that's my plan. The next day, we see the noose hanging. We see the snow falling. And they bring him out. Onion tries to see the hanging, but they kick him out because there's no Negroes allowed, okay, within like 3 miles or something like that. He says people think of him in different ways, as a killer, as a saint, as a prophet, as a lunatic. But he wasn't crazy. He says they say no one heard his last words. And that's true, but people speculate on what they could be. And Onion does not get to see him hang, but he imagines that his last word is, God, this is a beautiful country. And he says that several times throughout the series. I'm interpreting as that he's thinking about the potential of what America could be, even though it's jacked up. Even though America is still messed up today, it's something about America that makes us want to fight for the goodness of what America could be. When we see Onion, he's packing up he's thinking about all the things he could have took from, John Brown. Like, he got his shoes, got a hat, he got all these different things. He has his book of poems, he has his sweets, and we're to think that he's gonna ride off right by himself and do his own thing. Walking with Jesus, hey, we walking with Jesus. I was like, come on and walk with Jesus, hey, and walk with Jesus, and walk with Jesus. Come on and walk with Jesus. During the credits, we saw all the faces of the different slaves, some of the second-sided characters, and then we saw Simone, I think that was her name. We saw Black, whatever his name was. We're going to call him Black because he looked like his nickname Black, right? Black. We're going to call him Black. He ended up being a good guy, the one who gave him his shirt or whatever. We was a little scared of him at first, but he ended up being a good guy. And like, y'all, this show was, it was hilarious. It was funny. It was everything. And like, I just want to say that I know that I don't talk about politics and stuff that much, because I do feel like this show illuminated for me and really made me fervently believe that racism is a disease of the mind and of the heart. And it's something that's extremely hard to get rid of, because people indoctrinate themselves in these ideas about I'm better than you and you're better than me because skin colors. And like, it's unfortunate. I as a person don't know how that we can overcome that unless you have to step outside of yourself. You have to step outside of your circumstances, your situation, your privilege, your whatever you have going on in your life, and be able to actually listen and talk to a person of another race and really understand and relate. And until we're able to do that honestly and have those uncomfortable conversations without people crying and running out the room and getting so angry. I see the country in a lot of anger. It's a lot of anger from both sides. And I'm more of somebody who ride the line. I'm kind of in the middle, except for when it comes to like my life and, my freedoms, right? But I'm a person who rides the middle a lot, so it's hurtful to me to see where we are in this country. So I think that shows like this are important. I always like slave shows. I don't know why people don't like them, or shows that depict slavery, because it's not really a slave show, but you know what I'm saying. But because we need to remember those things. We need to understand where we are today is a symptom, is a side effect of where we were back then. And although we have made a lot of steps in progress, there's still a lot more things we need to do as people, period. As black people, as white people, and as black and white people together, okay? And I mean black and white. I don't mean anything else. I mean black and white, because those are the two, in America that have the most contention with each other. And I really think that I used to be like, all the races just need to die, but people raise their kids to be like that too, y'all. So I don't know. It hurts my heart. It really does, because I really have love for everybody. So that really hurts my heart that the world is like this. But all we can do is have these conversations and come to the table one at a time and try to change hearts and try to be good people. Be good people so that people can see we are good people. I'm not going to go out my way to be good. I'm just going to be my regular good self. That's how I operate in my Christianity. That's how I operate, period. I'm not going out to thump no Bible over your head, and I'm not about to thump you over the head with Black Lives Matter flatter. I'm just going to be a good person. If you ain't with that, stay over there. The show was excellent. I want to hear your thoughts about this finale. How did you feel? Did you cry? I know this review was a mess because I'm all over the place, because like I said, I love this show so much. It brought me to tears so many times. It brought up so many feelings on the inside. And I want to hear what you guys thought about it. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I know I have put my IG tag somewhere in this video. Okay, so I will holler at you guys on the next one. Peace.